will start in a minute. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning,
All
ma'am.
doing good? All of you are good?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened? Somebody told something. Is everything all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we will start off with the class. It is 10:47. I think students are still joining. One more minute. You want me to wait? I can. 1 second. I don't want others who are on time to keep waiting. So there are 30. That's good strength. Okay. I'll just check if I'm recording it.
Ma'am, will you send the recording like after the lecture, like in the group?
After the lecture, I won't be sending as such. The thing is, I think this is going to go into Dean's account. So, or the coordinator account. Our coordinator is Dr. Satish Babu. So, I think he will be sharing it once for all. Or I will ask him. I can't share every class because I'm handling 3 classes in a row. So, what I will do is, if he permits, I'll talk to him. I will send after 3 classes or 4 classes. Once for all, I will keep sending 4 links, 3 links, 2 links like that. So it would be easier for me also. I don't have to do it after every class. Okay.
Yes,
Is that okay? Okay, we will start off with the class. I'll just put on my earphones so that I am audible to you much clearer. Okay. Fine. So how do I? So in the previous class, we were talking about the process of compilation, right? So you write a C program, you're going to compile it before your execution in order to take out all the syntax errors, recompile it so that you can execute the code. Now, what actually are we doing is the next step. So the execution of a program, any program in C that you want to execute will undergo the following steps. The first one is translation. Just see the headings: translation, linking, relocation, and loading. What are we doing in all these three things? In all these four things. In the previous class, we have seen a few things like translation, linking, etc. So relocation and loading, we will see what is happening with relocation and loading. So translation of a program, we need to definitely do it because computers don't understand anything else other than ones and zeros. We need to link this translated program to other object programs which are required for execution. If you have written a C program, you will start off writing with hash include stdio.h. Yeah, right, you have heard of it. Hash include stdio.h. Now this stdio.h is a library file which I am including in my C program so that I can make use of all the functions in that library file. That is the role. Now, because when I want to use already existing functions into my program, I need to link that stdio.h to my current C program. Then relocation of the program to execute from specific memory area, relocation of a program is related to memory. Loading of the program is also related to memory. So this is directly given in your textbook. Just to make you understand, I have included a picture here. This is the memory layout of a C program. This is how it looks. What you see, the rectangle here is the memory. What rectangle you see here is the memory. Okay, so this is the memory. This entire thing is the memory. Whatever you're seeing here, this entire thing is a memory. Now, this memory has an address associated with it. This memory has address associated with it. Just like how our houses have address located with it, and in that address, we have a street, we have a main, we have a door number, correct? We have a door number for our house in the street. All your programs will have an address associated with it. It will have a high address and a low address. It will have both a high address and a low address. All the data that we make use of, all the program that we write is all stored in the memory. It is all stored as block of memory. And this kind of a memory, it can be in form of a data structure which is called as a stack. Okay, we will, as you go on, you will understand what a stack is. A stack is nothing but last in, first out. Just like how you arrange the plates, right? One above the stack of books, we call, no? How you arrange the books one above the other, right? Whatever you put in last, while taking out, you take out the first one in the stack, right? Last in, first out. Like how you arrange a plates, the first plate is the one that you put in last, correct? So that is stack. A heap is also another kind of an arrangement of data in memory, which takes the form of a tree, T-R-E-E, tree. Okay, that's a different thing. So all these things are arranged in memory, and all the arguments that we give, all the environmental variables that we use, everything is stored in the memory. Everything is stored in the memory, right? So when you initialize data in your C program, int a comma b comma c semicolon, if you have done that, then that is initialized. Or if you say int a is equal to 0, you're initializing a as a variable to the value 0. All that is stored in the memory. See, one thing we all have to understand, without memory, no program can execute. No program can execute without memory. That is why all the programs that we write, we save it. It is saved in the memory. When we compile it, again, object code is generated. That is saved in the memory. Object code is going to be linked with other external object codes if required. All that is saved in the memory, right? Final object code is there. Then you have to put this object code into the memory location where it is required to be executed. Specific amount of memory that is allocated for your program to execute, you have to put in your program there so that you can execute the program. Now, all the complexities that I have been telling you is put in form of a small picture, very understandable. Just an example. These are not there in your textbook. Please don't go and search for this in the textbook. I have put it myself. I've got it over the internet so that it's easy for you to understand. That's all. Okay. See here, this is what I have been talking about. The picture on the top part of the slide is what I have been talking about since yesterday. This part of the slide. My source code, what is my source code? The program that I write as .c extension with .c extension, right? That is my source code. That is given to the compiler. When you say GCC or CC, I don't know what you're using in the lab, CC space file name .c, you are giving it to the compiler. CC is C compiler, right? C compiler. So there are different versions of C compiler or Linux machines, or let's say all this Linux, Fedora, Ubuntu, all these are different versions of flavors of Linux. They are all Unix based operating system. What we are using, or I am using on my laptop, is Windows based operating system. Okay, for Windows, you might ask me, why can I not execute C program over Windows? You can definitely execute. You can make use of Turbo C compiler. Turbo C compiler, which is specifically built for Windows operating system. That's the simplest kind of a what is that compiler that you can install and execute. Okay, so the source code is, you type the source code in a text file. That is the first thing that you do, and name it as filename.c. Filename.c. So when you name it as filename.c, you give it to a compiler when you say cc space filename.c. If there are no syntax error, this compiler is going to give an object code as an output. This object code is then given to the linker. All this happens internally. You don't have to worry. You only have to use CC, you only have to use compiler, and you only have to execute the file. You only have to use the interpreter. You have to use the executable file. Okay. This object code, when it is given to the linker will look for all the additional files that are required to run this program. Now, your compiler will detect any syntax error and convert it to object code. But when you want to execute it, all the files which are associated with this one file also need to be converted and put into memory for execution, correct? So that is done by the linker and loader. That is done by the linker and loader. The executable files are all given to the loader by the linker. This linker is going to attach along with your object code all the additional files that are required for the execution of your program and give it to the loader. The loader is going to load it in the specific portion of your memory which is allocated for program execution, which you and me as users need not worry about. Where in memory is this program executing? I don't have to worry about it at all. Okay, I really don't have to worry about where it is executing in the memory. Okay, so kindly students, do not leave the call in between. It is going to create disturbance to everybody. Okay, and do not join in between also. So it is not the right practice. Fine. So this is about it's wrong, right? Leaving the class in between. It's very wrong. Huh? Don't do that. Okay, fine. So, see, this is what you're seeing on this topmost part of the PPT is about how you execute a single file. Okay, now let's say I have a group of files. I have a group of, so do you need to execute only one C file? One C file, can that C file contain other files within itself? Yes, it can contain other source file. You can actually refer to other source files, or let's say you're executing multiple programs. Each program you're giving it to the compiler. Each program gets an object file, of its own. If they are individual, let us say they are all 1.c, second program.c, 3.c, third program.c. Each one you give it to an object file. All these files are given to one linker. There is one linker for one C installation. One C program compiler will only there is one C environment we call it the C environment will have one linker which is going to link that to a executable file. This linker will have access to the program library, whatever I told you, conio.h, stdio.h. All these library files are the program library. What is a library? Library is a collection of already existing books. Correct? Our library has a collection of books which you can go borrow it, use it and return it back. Similarly, here a program library, in this program library is a collection of multiple codes. It is a collection of multiple already existing codes. So there are functions which you can make use of from this library into your program. When you say printf, right? When you say printf, hello, printf is a function that is there already written, whose definition is already given in the library. You don't have to write any definition for printf. You directly use printf. How does the program linker know that this printf is from my library? You say hash include stdio.h. It means to say standard input output library is included with this program. Standard input output library is included with this program that contains the printf function. That contains the printf function. So that is going to give a executable file. Are you all with me? Bhavani?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Bhavani is with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Chiklit? Chiklit
Yes,
is
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
happy
Yes, ma'am.
with me today.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Because as soon as you joined also, I wished you good morning. You really didn't care.
Sorry, ma'am.
No problem. Okay. So are you all with me? You're all with me, Medhavi?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yeah, you are there, but are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, thank you. I want you all to be with me. I know you're all on the list. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, so there is nothing very complicated in this. This is the mode of execution, and these depictions are for your usage. You can use it and write it in your exam, no doubt, but your textbook also gives a different kind of a notation. So basically, whatever I just told you, no, it is all given in form of text here. So the linking is going to make use of the addresses of the program. So here when you say the linker is making use of program library, this program library is stored where? In the memory. Memory has what? Address. So linker will access the particular address in the memory in order to link the file to the execution. Okay, and give a executable format. Now, let us talk a little bit about relocation of the program. When you move the program from one area of memory to another area of memory, that is called as relocation. Okay, now depending on the program that you write, one program may require less memory, one program may require more memory, right? It depends on what kind of a program you're writing. I'm writing a program which is going to, for example, do all the activities of a banking application. Withdraw, transfer, deposit, RD, what and all I'm doing, loan, right? So that requires more space. Just writing a small program to do a simple calculator, that requires a little less space. So based on the type of program that you're writing, based on the kind of program that you're writing, the adjustment of the addresses in the memory the memory required may be small or large. Based on your requirement, the addresses of the memory is adjusted by a particular program, by a particular part, right, of this execution. That is relocation. Okay, so it can be loaded to an address where other than from where it is originally specified due to the requirement purpose or due to the extensiveness of that program which is existing. Fine. So at that time, the object program requires a simple modification, and that is done by this relocation and loaded to the address where it can hold the entire program. That is relocation. That is just relocation. Okay. Now loader.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, could you give an example for relocation? I didn't quite understand it. Is it because you need to use some function that is there in another library, so you're changing the address to there?
No. What if you want to use a function which is already existing in the library, it is going to use that function and execute it and use that wherever it is, no problem. This linker will know where the address of that module is in the library. But in your program, see, everything occupies space. As you go on, you will see integer occupies a certain space, string occupies a character occupies a certain space in the memory, float occupies a certain space in the memory, double is another data type which will occupy twice the number of integers in your memory. If I'm doing a banking application, that requires a lot of integer variables. There are a lot of memory requirements for that. For calling a function, you require memory. Doing a withdrawal, doing a subtraction, right? When somebody withdraws, you need to subtract it from the account. Account should be holding the current status. So there are so many things that require memory. The requirement of memory is huge, right? So each time, so you can't do that each time. So when you're writing a program, it will be allocated in a certain space in the memory. Once the object code is created and it has linked with the existing files, it can be relocated to the available memory space, and that relocation requires modification in object code, and that is done by this relocator. Okay, loader generally does that. Loader is going to generally make use of that. It is done by this relocator, and loader is generally going to use that location and load the program in the assigned area. Okay, assignment of load time storage area to the program is done by loader. Okay, it is just not about using library function. It is also about how much of data your program requires to be occupied in the memory. Space is required for your program to be occupied in the memory.
Ma'am, then can we say that the
Continue, madam.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can we say that relocator makes sure that wherever the program is now moved, that place is sufficient for the program?
It is now sufficient. Yes, unless there is enough memory in your computer. Computer memory, the C loader can't help it. For example, if you have only 120 MB of memory in your computer and you have filled it with a lot of movies and all that, it has no place to execute, then it will say out of memory. As soon as you run the program, it will, like after syntax error, when you execute it, it will say your program cannot be executed, it is out of memory. Okay. If there is memory on your computer, yes, it will make sure.
Okay.
Okay. So this loader is going to load the program into that assigned area. It is going to load the program into that assigned area, and so that it can execute properly in that area, right? During its load, from its load time storage area. Okay. For everything that you execute every program, C program that you execute from the memory area, wherever it is loaded, it is going to execute from there only, from there on, all the time from there on. It is not going to go back to its original location. That is what they mean. Okay, this loader is also responsible for linking the program with another. Now, this linker is there now. This linker this linker is going to fetch everything. It is going to make sure that every function is available for execution. But loader, it should load that part of the module, right? It should load that part of the module for execution. Executor, the interpreter should execute line by line of the code. And even if it is from some library, line by line of that code in the library also should execute. Correct. Along with the line by line code of your program, that also should execute. So linking is also done by linking Aryan Jain. Okay. Linking of the program, linking of library program is also done by this loader. Okay. It is going to tell the interpreter how to execute line by line, from where to start, where to end. See, it is all about memory addresses. Yeah. That is why I put up this picture, because you will not have an idea of what it is, right? So it is all about memory addresses. If you are really interested in this, I will talk a little bit about, see, every CPU has a CPU register, which has what is called as PC, okay, which is called as program counter. Okay, this program counter is going to hold the addresses in the memory of which instruction to be executed next. Every line that you write is called as an instruction. Every line of program that is going to be executed by the program executor or interpreter is going to be called an instruction. Each of these instructions have an address. Which is the next instruction to execute? That is given by program counter. Okay, that is given by program counter. All these are a part of our CPU. Instruction execution, program counter, they are all a part of our CPU. Program counter, in fact, see, it is here. It is in fact a CPU register itself. It is a register. Register is a kind of memory that holds instructions, that holds address to instructions. Okay, register in our attendance register contains your names and USNs. I get to know whose name I should call for programming in C, whose name I should call for computer network class, whose name I should call for 7-sem class, right? So this way, this register also similarly holds data. What data? Address data. Address data of what? The next instruction to be executed. Okay, at the execution time, this CPU is going to find instructions from the addresses that is assigned to your program. Every item in your program is assigned an address. It is going to find that assigned address and start executing. Okay, now definitely the CPU is a very beautiful thing that we all know about. It has lot of chips, it has lot of processing capability, it has other capability too. It has what is called as RAM, random access memory. So it can access all the words of the memory, no matter what their addresses are, where their addresses are. That is why if you want to buy a computer or a laptop, maybe your parents say, see that you just check what is the RAM. If you say it is 4 GB of RAM, somebody might say you might require 8 GB of RAM. Random access memory. That depicts how fast your computer is, right? How fast your computer is they determine it by seeing what is the capability of your random access memory, which is RAM. Right? Because CPU can randomly access any part of the memory. For that, RAM is required. RAM, right? RAM, random access memory, is required. If there are computers which has 256 GB of RAM, have you heard of it? 256 GB of RAM, then that's a really, really fast computer. That is a really fast, it has lot of, it can function really fast, and maybe that kind of a computer is required for deeper analysis softwares that require a lot of memory and they require a lot of execution speed. Okay, generally when you start working in organizations, if you're in analysis, design of mechanical kind of a thing, or your boilers, all these things now, it is you should have larger memory because their software itself will be huge, right? Accessing the memory should be fast. Fine. So this is the block diagram for your program. This is what is given in your textbook. I didn't want to use this directly because I wanted you to get an idea. When I use this, you now know, you have a clear picture. Now you can analyze what is this, right? So your source program is given to a translator, a linker and a loader before it becomes a binary program. Before it becomes a binary program. Okay. Now this binary program, when you say enter two numbers which has to be added, that is the data that you are giving to the program, your C program. You're not interacting with your .C code. You're actually interacting with the binary program. Okay. Then that is going to add two numbers and give you the result. There are two kinds of flows. One is the data flow and the other one is the control flow. Here we say that the loader gives the control flow to the binary program because the control has to move from, there is something called as a control of execution. Line by line, the program executes. Line by line, it is translated. It is linked. It is linked. All this involves data. Once everything is loaded into the memory, once this part is over, once everything is loaded into the memory, loading is over, what you have ultimately is the binary program, which is ones and zeros. That was our aim when writing C program and giving it to compiler. That was our ultimate aim, converting it into ones and zeros, right? Because only ones and zeros is what our computer understands. So when it is given as a binary program, when it is loaded as a binary program in the memory, we have to start executing this binary program, right? We are executing this binary program. So the control is transferred from the loader to the binary program for execution to get the result. Fine. So we have first generation, second generation programming languages. First and second generation programming language. The first generation programming language was ones and zeros only. Not many of us know about it. Second generation languages were a little bit instruction based languages. Third generation programming languages, they have procedural instructions. They are file oriented programming languages. You don't have to worry much about this. See, this is the evolution of programming languages. Previously, it was only ones and zeros. It would be really difficult for you all to program with ones and zeros, right? So second generation, then they started giving symbols. That's why we use the word symbolic table, right? Each symbol has to get its meaning. It will have its meaning in the library. So that meaning is understood by the compiler and then checked for errors. If you say add is an instruction to add two numbers, ADD is an instruction. If you write ADI, it will give you a syntax error because in the library ADD is there, ADI is there. Okay, something like that. So next generation, they started using assembly level programming. Third generation, they started using procedural programming. You will see what it is. Procedural programming. And it was file oriented. You save it in a file, you give that file for execution. You don't type anything directly and press enter. Right? It was file oriented. Next, it is next fourth generation. They started including databases from the backend. Now, what is database? Database is a collection of data in an organized manner. All of us have used online shopping, right? All of us have used online shopping. So when you are doing online shopping, whatever you see on your web page is the front end. That is the front end, the web technology they use in order to create that front end. Where is all that data stored when you want to buy if you want to buy a mobile phone online? What is the cost of that? When you add it to the cart, it should go and sit in the cart. Where is all this data being stored? At what time did you add it? When did you add it? How much of shipping? Where is your address? It will also save your address for future use. What is your account details? Your username, your password? Where is all this stored? In the database. It is stored in the backend database, which I and you are not aware of. We cannot see it. We cannot see it. We only make use of it. Correct? We don't see it. So, fourth generation programming languages, they started using database as backend and started writing functions to access this database, make use of this database. Make use of this database. Fifth generation, what I and you speak. What I and you speak. Fifth generation programming language, it is like human speech, and it will have very little grammatic. Okay, where it will have very little use of instruction based language or binary based language, which you will have to by heart. It is like our vocabulary. Like let's say printf means what? Print. We all know what is print, right? It is easy to understand. Print means print something on the screen. Something that you and I can understand. Some vocabulary that we use in our day-to-day languages are used as syntax in fifth generation programming languages. Okay, so that is how it is. So basically all our programming languages that we are using, they are all fifth level. They, of course, when I say fifth generation, it also includes the capabilities of fourth generation, third generation, etc. No capability is eliminated and new capability is introduced. New capabilities are only to make it user friendly, only to make it human friendly. But I do have capabilities to connect to the database using my Java. I do have capabilities to connect to database using Perl script, PHP script, etc. Right? Okay. So your programming languages on the whole can be classified as two things. High level language and low level language. High level language can be of three things: procedural, non-procedural, problem oriented. Okay, they are all high level languages. Low level language is what I told you: machine level language and assembly level language. For example, 8086 assembly level language programming is having instructions like jump, JMP, add, ADD, subtract, SUB, divide, DIV, right? That is assembly level language. But here, that is instruction based language. But here in high level language, what we are doing, C, C++, all these are procedural language. You can organize your program in a structured manner in form of functions or procedures. If you have to write a huge program, you don't have to start writing from first line till the last line. Keep writing on and on and on. In the same main function, you don't need to write everything. You can also create your own functions. You can create an add function that beautifully add two numbers, and inside the function itself prints the value of that number. You want to subtract, you can beautifully write a subtract function. Call that function whenever required, right? You can organize the program in a well appreciated format. Once we start doing the actual C, I will show you all these things. Okay, procedural programming languages, they have the capability of organizing the program into procedures or functions. Procedures or functions. It is more structured that way. Instead of writing 100 lines of code inside main, you can organize it into different functions and call those functions in main only when required. Only when required. Okay, non-procedural programs were there. LISP, Lisp. This is a special kind of a program that is used for even before none of you would have used Lisp, right? It is, what is they called? Lisp is a machine level language program. Okay, totally machine level language program, that is, you should know the perfect syntax of it in machine language. Not many of them used it. In research laboratories, they were using LISP. Okay, Prolog, ML, we don't have to worry about all these things. Here we have algorithmic languages, object-oriented languages, and scripting language. You must have studied object-oriented directly in your school, and that is why we always say you should first learn C. If you learn algorithmic-based languages, learning object-oriented languages is very easy, very, very easy. Okay, so algorithmic-based language. Now we are going to write algorithms for every C program that you execute. We'll see what an algorithm is. Okay. Object-oriented language, in object-oriented language, everything is an object. Everything is an object. C++, everything that you want to use in the program is an object. In scripting language, these scripting languages such as Perl, PHP, Visual Basic, they are all used for scripting. Scripting, in a sense, they are small programs that are used in order to specially connect the front end to the back end. Scripting languages are used there. Okay, you can use, right? You've heard of people saying, I'm writing test scripts for the program that I have developed. They are all small modules in order to test if the functionality of the system that you have developed is working right. Okay, so these are different types of programming languages. Structured programming, algorithm, all these things we will do it in the next class. And one second, and we will go ahead. In the next class, we will finish off this theory and we'll start with flowcharts. We'll start with learning flowcharts. Okay, so that it's easier for us to do our record work for the lab. Fine. So next thing is, what I wanted to tell you is why I've stopped a little early is I want to give you a basic highlight of how we go about. Now we have a lot of participants. Very good. Okay. So what I want to tell you is, see, programming is required. I just want to give you a brief highlight. Program is required no matter which branch you are in. Please keep that in mind. It is very much required in these days, right? They expect you to know minimum amount of programming no matter in what branch you are studying. Fine. So this is the foundation for your programming. Here on, you can start writing programs on your own. Once you get to know the syntax, you can start writing programs on your own and you can start executing, right? C we are teaching you because that is a basic foundational language. You can start learning any other programming language once you get the hold of C language. Second thing. Third thing is, given 3 months, if I have to teach you a complete programming language, there is a lot of effort which is required from your side also. I simply can't open the textbook, open PPT and say, guys, read from slide 4 to slide 40 today. That is all. You read and come from your house, I will clear doubts. That is not possible. What we have to do is we have to start executing. We have to start executing. How do we start executing? First thing, we need to install software on our computers. Be it operating whatever Windows operating system or Ubuntu or Fedora or I don't know, Red Hat. What do you have on your computers or on your laptops? See, I'm now also telling you, kindly arrange yourself a computer or laptop. If you have connected through cell phone, it is not tolerated. Okay, Aryan, Anand, you don't have a laptop with you?
Ma'am.
Then why do you use cell phone to connect?
Sorry.
It's wrong, right?
Yes, ma'am.
No, it's not. No, sorry, Allah. I'm just telling you that you require it. Darshu Priya?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Why cell phone?
Ma'am, tomorrow onwards I will see laptop.
Devendu? Kushi? Devendu? If you don't talk to me, yes, Kushi, is it?
No, ma'am. Devendu.
Devendu. Why cell phone?
Yes, ma'am. It's easy to use. WebEx is easy to use. Phone for me.
No, you start because now, okay, today's class was theory, okay. But when I want you to do work, I will ask you to share screen. I hope you all understand, right? So you
Oh,
will
okay,
have to
ma'am.
share your screen when you do some work. When I ask you to see some video and get back to me, I will ask you to share screen. Because if you start watching YouTube music and dance and all that, how will I know? I'll ask you to share screen, right? So that is why you should use computer. Nidhi, okay, Nidhi?
Ma'am, I actually joined through laptop the other day, but then I couldn't connect audio, ma'am. That's why I joined through phone.
Yes, yes, I understand. You fix it, madam. Okay, it is required for all the courses, not only for C. No, your laptop is very important. Huh? Please fix the audio for your laptop. Okay, no problem. This is the first time you're all using Cisco WebEx. I totally understand. I'm with you. No problem. Huh? You please take time. It's not very late. I still have to handle another theory class. It is there, but I want you to parallelly do some work. That is why I'm just asking. Rohit, Sridhar Dikshit.
Yes, ma'am. From the next class, I'll join through a PC.
Yeah, Rohit. What about Rohit? You agree with me,
Yes,
Rohit?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. From next class, I will.
Sinchana also should agree with me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Siraj. Siraj, sorry. How do I call you?
Walid.
Walid. Yeah, Walid. Is that okay, Walid?
Yes, ma'am.
No problem, right?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So, now what I was about to tell you is, give me 1 minute. Sorry for that. Okay, so what I was telling you is, see, we have lot of resources on the internet. Now, in 3 months, if I have to put up with a programming course, if I have to finish it, you also have to start learning parallelly. That's my whole idea. So there are a lot of resources on the internet, out of which I hope. Oh, I didn't share it. Is it okay? Fine. Out of which, in the YouTube, there is a channel. Let me just share it. Clarification. Okay. Why I am telling you about this academy is, in child understandable language, he has explained C programming. He has explained C programming in child understandable language. Not only engineering students, any school level students also can understand. And another important thing is, his videos are 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 14 minutes, 6 minutes. That's all. Every day you can watch one video. One video is sufficient. You can't spend 5 minutes, you can't spend 18 minutes, you can't spend 10 minutes. He also has some important questions. That is 20 minutes. It's optional. If you want to see, you see. Right? You can spend time. See, all his videos are short term. I totally understand. If I give you a 1 hour video, 2 hour video, it would be highly difficult for you to concentrate and learn. Except for a 2 hour movie, I'm sure you won't sit and watch anything else more than 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Even if you're watching a stand-up comedy, I'm sure you will look for a video which is only 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 8 minutes. Right? You agree with me? You can't concentrate for so long. So that is why I am showing you this, so that every day, once we start C programming, your lab is started already. I'm not your lab teacher, but I want you all, as and when your teacher teaches you variables, as and when your teacher teaches you constants in C, you please go here and see that 8-minute video and try to understand what is a constant, what is a variable, what is a data type, what are inbuilt functions, what are library function, what is a preprocessor. See, I'm always talking about hash include. That is a preprocessor statement. Hash include, whatever you're seeing on my screen, hash include stdio.h. He explains it very nicely. Preprocessor statement. Okay. With the actual content, include stdio.h is a library file. stdio.h, anything .h is a library file. Okay. This stdio.h library file is looked for, and the contents of that file is replaced before the compilation begins. Okay, and the output of this pre-processing is expanded source code. Okay, so source code, when you write, if you just say printf hi hello how are you, but if you include hash include stdio.h, that library file is also included in your source code, and the ultimate source code for your C file is the inclusion of that file as well as your code. Okay, it is as easy as this to understand. I hope you all get my point. So NISO Academy, if you can just watch one video per day, and it will help you. It is going to definitely help you. See, all his videos are very short. Okay, when we start doing looping and all that, these videos will come of help. I can play video in my class, but what is the whole point? You can see it yourself. No, that is fine. Okay, so that is one thing I wanted to tell you. Next, very important thing that I want to tell you is, all of you have got your RVCE IDs?
Yes.
Bhuvan?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Bhuvan. Okay, Anant?
No, I didn't got.
Anant, you didn't get your RVCE email ID.
No, ma'am.
Okay, Dean has shared a document, Anant. Have you got that document which has email ID of all the students?
No, ma'am, I didn't got the
Document. Okay, so one of you should share the document with him. Anant, your ID will be in that document. I don't know how you didn't get. Is your name in the first year group?
Yes, ma'am.
Has sir sent it on the first year group itself? At others? Chetan?
Yes, ma'am.
Chetan, did you get your email ID?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, your voice is breaking. Who else is there? Vijaya.
Yes, ma'am.
Vijaya, you've got the email ID document now. From which ID did you get?
Ma'am, we all have got the email ID document on our respective emails.
On your respective emails. From
Yes.
whom?
From the dean itself.
From the dean. Anant, you're getting mails from the dean?
I didn't check, ma'am.
Anant, you have to keep in track. See, everything in RV college is through mails.
Okay.
Okay. Now, why did I ask you this is, I'm going to create a classroom. Google Classroom, you're all aware of?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good, very good. So on this Google Classroom, I will post these YouTube links or extra learning materials, your lesson plan, your syllabus, anything that I want to share with you, I want to post it on the classroom. You all are going to join my classroom through the link that I share with you. That link I'll share on WhatsApp, don't worry. Okay. But once you have to join to the classroom, you should have your RVCE email ID to join my classroom. Okay, that is why I'm asking you if you all have RVCE email ID. Next important thing is you should all have changed your passwords. Got it? All
Yes,
of you
ma'am.
have changed your password?
Yes, ma'am. We have done
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
Okay. See, if you have not done it, you don't have to tell it here. You please do it immediately. Do it immediately. Get my point? It is not good to use the common password. It is never good. And this email ID is going to stay with you till you all graduate from RVC. So you have to take care of this email ID and not forget the password. Even if you forget, there are ways to find it, but don't forget the password. Okay, so that is another important thing. Once you join my classroom, you will get a lot of material. I will start communicating with you on the classroom officially. Okay, now The thing is, we have got information that you all have got RVC email IDs, but I don't have your IDs. So as I told you, I will share the link of Classroom on the WhatsApp. You all join through your RVC ID so that I get to know that you're all my PSC students. Fine, with RVC ID. Fine. Next, anything that you want to communicate with me, you can post it over WhatsApp group, or see, if you ask doubts over WhatsApp group, it would be really difficult for me to explain. I don't type messages and all that very frequently. I've just kept it for point of communication. That's all. If you have any specific doubts or anything, you send a mail to me. It is enough. If at all I require to attach any document to support teaching you or anything, I will attach it and I will send it. Okay. Next, in your labs, you have experiential learning component. The part B, have you ever seen what is your part B? I think I only showed it in the class, but other than that, if you have not seen your syllabus, you just take a look at it. I think I showed it to you the other day. In the classroom, I showed it when I was teaching you offline. Okay, so if it is possible, I will show it to you now. Oh no, it is already 11:41. You will have to go for your next class. So I will have to take attendance first before that. See, when I say attendance, I have a lot of students joining in, which is not at all acceptable.
Ma'am, actually, I was unable to hear you for the past 5 minutes. I got disconnected. I didn't understand what you were saying for the past 5 minutes.
Who is this? Vidhu.
Ma'am, Vidhu.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Vidhu. Okay. Were the others able to hear?
I
Yes,
even
ma'am.
Okay, okay. So Vidhu, there was a problem from your side. So no problem.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, my audio got disconnected. There was some internet issue, so my audio got disconnected. So I was unable to hear what you said for the after the
Vidhu,
Neso Academy thing. What did you say?
Google Classroom. I was talking about Google Classroom. I will have to, I will create a Google Classroom and I'll share the link with you all. I want you all to use your RVCE ID to communicate with me. Join the classroom. To join the classroom, you require RVCE email ID, and please change your password for RVCE email ID is all that I was telling.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I want you all to start working on C programs, small C programs. Okay, so next class, I will quickly finish what is an algorithm and how to write a flowchart. I will also show you sample flowcharts, because online class, if it was a chalk and board, I would have easily drawn flowcharts for you and shown. But here I need to show you more examples so that you understand better. Okay, I will show you examples and I'll quickly finish it off, and then we'll immediately start off with C programming. Okay, after the classroom, fourth point also I had. I am a part of what is called as coding club. You've heard of coding club in RV College of Engineering?
Yes.
Yes, good.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I'm one of the faculty coordinator for coding club in RV College of Engineering. Our own HOD, Dr. Sagar, is the coding club chief. He's the chief or head of the coding club. He's the head. He's heading it. It is under his initiative that we are all working. We have students from different departments, CS, IS, electronics, telecommunication. Anybody who is very interested in coding, they have all become coding club members. We have coding club core team from CSIS department, because they are into a lot of coding activities. They conduct a lot of events, etc. Now, why I'm talking all these things is, once in a while, if you all say yes, I will invite my coding club students to give you all an overview of coding once we start off with C programming. Right? If you are all comfortable with your senior teaching you, they are nobody else other than your seniors. Right? You have to start getting familiar with people, or else you will remain isolated in one place. You have to reach out to people, talk to them, see them, address them, etc. Correct? So I will ask my coding club students to address you all regarding the importance of coding, etc. Right? Yeah, how coding is important, how to make it simple, or anything that they want to share with you as first year students. I will be asking them to share it with you. That also I wanted to tell you. So give me some time. Hopefully we all come back offline very quickly. Hopefully the cases start reducing at least. So it is all increasing now. It's not in our hands. Hopefully all of you are stay safe at home. Don't go around. Do your work, start studying, but don't go around. If the cases decrease, we might start offline. As soon as we start offline, they might come, or if it is not going to start also, I will give online sessions, session timings based on your timetable. Whenever you're free, I'll ask them to give you sessions under Coding Club. Is that okay? I'll ask my HOD also to address you. You can ask anything you want. They are all your friends. Okay?
Ma'am, the government gave the order to function offline, right? Is that going to happen anytime soon?
Actually, that is the government order, but since you all have gone back there, no, college has not taken any decision. So as such, if they decide, they will send an email to you and they'll give you time to come back if at all they decide something like that.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't have to worry. They will let you know ahead of time.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so now attendance time, sorry, it's already 11:46. I will quickly take attendance. I know Pavan is there, Nidhi is there, Satya Krishna, Raghuram.
Satya.
Oh, this is Satya. Oh God.
Yes.
Okay, I called you right. Satya. Okay, Satya Krishna. Sanjay. Om
Yes,
Sanjay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Om is your name or Sanjay is your name?
Ma'am, it's Om.
Om is your name. Okay. Sachin.
Present, ma'am.
Samir.
Present, ma'am.
Shashank. Rohit. Vijay Raghavan is there. Medhavi is there. Bhuvan is there. Chetan
Yes,
is
ma'am.
there. Cheklit is there. Bhavani is there. Vidhu is there. Devendu is there. Vaibhav is there. Vaibhav?
Yes, ma'am.
Vaibhav, you joined late, Vaibhav.
No, I joined on time.